Hello, my name is Wendy Jones, and I am here to present today on the effect of manipulatives on coin knowledge and comprehension. I did this project with a group of first graders. I had six first graders as the participants in this project, and a little bit of background information that's necessary in order to understand the data that'll be presented later on. I currently am doing my student teaching assignment in a multi-age self-paced classroom. So the students are not being taught lessons as a whole group. Rather, they are being taught on an individual one-to-one basis. So that's why you'll see their progress vary in number of days rather than in physical scores, because in all of these different categories that we will discuss, the children are taking as much time as they need to progress without any other barriers being in the way of that. So, the focus and purpose of this study was to help first graders increase their understanding of coins. When I got into the classroom in January of this year, that was where the natural progression of the year was heading for the first graders. And I was excited about the idea of manipulatives and how they can be beneficial and if they can be beneficial. So that led to my research question being, how can targeted activities and hands-on learning help first graders improve their understanding and comprehension of coins? The assumptions and limitations in this study were just simple, basic prior knowledge. I did assume that all of the students who would be looked at through this project had skills in counting and were able to do basic addition in order to progress through this unit. Um, Development of math skills as well. I anticipated that each student would have the ability to further their education with proper instruction. And then, of course, allotted time. There's only so much time that you have to work with the students every day, especially on something very specific within their education. For the review of literature, I selected, I believe, six different pieces of literature, ranging all the way back to the 70s, looking at the impact of manipulatives and coin comprehension in elementary age children. The majority of the literature findings came out to see that manipulatives did, in fact, have a positive impact on a child's ability to understand a subject in math. And so that was very promising as I moved forward with the study. For my subjects and participants, again, I had six first grade students for this project. They have obviously remained anonymous, but there was a mix of students at varying levels and a varying opportunity for them. So, the procedure for this research plan was to have the students complete a 5 lesson unit on coin comprehension. The unit was divided into two phases where lessons 1 to 3 were taught without the use of manipulatives, and lessons 4 to 5 were taught with the use of manipulatives. In this circumstance, the manipulatives used were physical coins, so decoys of physical coins with the correct size and shape of each coin to help the learner understand that the item in their hand was the item that they were learning about. Um, the assessment instruments. The main form of evaluation was tracking the number of days each student took to complete each lesson, serving as a measure of learning efficiency. Within this, the students' progress was monitored to ensure that they were comprehending each lesson and were ready to move on to the next component of coin knowledge following a knowledge check. So at the end of lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we do what's called a prove it, where the students walk us through what they learned in each unit. And these units are broken down into very small components of what their end goal is. So for us, my first grade group is looking towards understanding coins under $1. Our data collection was done again in days, and it was collected for each student across both instructional phases, lessons without manipulatives and lessons with manipulatives. The collected data was used to compare the average number of days students took to complete lessons in each phase. The average days for students without the use of manipulatives was 11.2 days, and this does include weekends where oftentimes students would have the option to bring the work home and continue learning at home. And then with the manipulatives, the average had dropped to 6.4 days, excluding an obvious outlier, which I will discuss more briefly. Individual trends and outliers were noted to determine the overall effectiveness of manipulatives in supporting student learning. So without the manipulatives, we were looking at 11.2, and with the manipulatives, we were looking at 6.4. You can see my data at the bottom of the screen here. The yellow bars are showing the number of days that it took for each student to complete the unit without the manipulatives, and the green bars are showing with the manipulatives. You can see I have labeled students A through F at the bottom, and then the number of days on the side. With this data and everything that I saw within the literature, I was able to come to a very concise conclusion that the use of manipulatives in teaching coin comprehension improves learning efficiency for most students. On average, the students completed the lessons more quickly when manipulatives were used, suggesting that the hands-on tools supported better understanding of coin values and concepts. While the majority of students benefited from the addition of manipulatives, the results weren't universal. One student took longer during the manipulative phase, and another student showed a significant delay. These exceptions highlight the need to consider the individual learning differences and to monitor how students engage with hands-on material. Overall, though, the data aligns with the research, suggesting that manipulatives can make abstract math concepts more accessible for young learners. The implications of this project look at the findings supporting incorporating manipulatives into early math instruction, especially for topics like coin comprehension that involve abstract reasoning. However, educators should be prepared to differentiate instruction and provide additional support for students who may not benefit as readily from hands-on tools. A balanced approach combining direct instruction with structured manipulative use may offer the most effective path forward. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and are able to look through the data a little bit more deeply. I certainly enjoyed being able to research this and was pleasantly not surprised, but was very happy with the outcome. Thank you so much for your time.